What makes a movie pretentious? Might it just be a term used by American audiences to describe something they don't understand? Pretentious is a term that I found correlating with the critiques of The Killing of a Sacred Deer, directed by Yorgos Lanthimos. But what does that even mean? Based on the play Iphigenia at Aulis by Euripides, when King Agamemnon kills a deer in the sacred grove of Artemis, the goddess keeps the Greek fleet from sailing off to Troy. The only way Agamemnon can get his massive fleet sailing off to war is to sacrifice his daughter Iphigenia to the goddess of the hunt. Yorgos Lanthimos is at the cusp of what is known as the Greek Weird Wave. These films create an initial reaction of bewilderment and even laughter from American audiences. Characters referred to as quirky or kooky. But are filmmakers looking for that kind of response? These films have an inclination to use fragmented story structures. In effect, it shifts the significance from the narrative to the performance of the actors. This style is a preference of non-causality stories, which opens the narrative to moments of happenings that go above a conventional plot arrangement. Lanthimos prefers a simple, sometimes breathtaking aesthetic. His films utilize a different kind of cinema of the body. A type of cinema that opts for gestures, postures, and attitudes over concrete characters and plot development.
200 meters. And it's got a date display.
Yes, it does.
I might have gone for a metal strap instead of a leather strap.
Thus giving us a more performative cinema that replaces causality scripts. Discussed by film scholar Gilles Deleuze, cinema of the body relies heavily on Bertolt Brecht's concept of gestus, which refers to physical acting. The actor does not become the character in a traditional manner. This is an attempt to give us a simplified character through attitudes and postures, which allows the audience to pay attention to the character's social relations and causes of their behavior rather than the psychological, metaphysical aspects.
How did his father die?
Car crash. Driving home.
It is the aim to show or quote an action rather than imitate it, even at times rendering the actors as part of the mise-en-scène. Deleuze's cinema of the body is a performative piece rather than a straightforward narrative, allowing the performing body and the camera to interact with each other. The film begins to skew from the script. As a result, the film becomes filmic, metafilmic, staged, and real events. Cinema of the body filmmakers are interested in asking more questions than answering. The audience is given time to think and reflect on the portrayed actions instead of passively watching them. Lanthimos uses cinema of the body to his advantage by having his actors perform activities rather than dramatizing situations, a fact which is particularly apparent in his 2009 film Dogtooth. The Greek Weird Wave movement is a borderline obsession of young filmmakers that are up against the tyranny of their ancestry and its nostalgia for families and own history. It can be found all over this cinema style. However, this style is ultimately epitomized by Dogtooth. Dogtooth comes right out and jabs at the family unit, calling it incestual and an obedience competition, with literal incest and literal barking. Greece is a mess, and the fact that these young filmmakers are making these weird films in response is something America could take notes on. You actually liked Killing of a Sacred Deer, somewhere deep down inside, I can tell. Lanthimos uses references that American audiences love, a form of intertextuality, that some may notice and others may be oblivious to. Those long takes of hallways are not by accident, nor is that tracking shot of the car. He takes what Americans love from movies and implements cinema of the body alongside it. But in the case of The Sacred Deer, it enhances the eeriness of the serial killer archetype within the thriller genre.
There's really no need for such a dramatic, sensational, old-fashioned word. But if you insist.
The film, despite what I've read, is an excellent interpretation of a play.
Do you like it?
The Greek filmmaker is once again jabbing at his Greek heritage. Is there a better way to point out the absurdity of mythology? He takes a mythological tale and puts it right in the center of a realistic modern-day setting. The characters act as if this is normal, when the audience knows it clearly is not. Think of the last time you saw something like this. Let's actually go broader. When was the last time you saw something different? Think of the countless simplified narratives with boring characters that favor visual dramaturgy. Think of the films that spoon feed you information so that they can quicker get to their CGI and set pieces. Yorgos Lanthimos is not an easily accessible director, yes, but I think it's the act of trying to understand him which makes you less passive. It's a breath of fresh air. Cinema of the body allows you time to look at what the characters are doing and reflect on these choices, resulting in a film that is no longer a generic independent film trying to be a Hollywood-produced movie. That for me is one of the biggest selling points to watching a Yorgos Lanthimos film, and that's why I'm very excited to see what he is going to bring to his new film, The Favorite, this November. So going back to my original question, I think the word pretentious used in American jargon stems from a viewer's lack of desire to understand the film. If you don't understand the film, then it must be pretentious. If we try to really understand cinema of the body and where Greek filmmakers are coming from, then I think the word pretentious would disappear from the American dialect. Instead of labeling films as pretentious, these films might actually be enjoyed for what they are offering, or at the very least, an attempt might be made by the viewer to understand what the filmmaker is trying to accomplish with their film. It would be replaced with either liking the film or at the very least understanding what the filmmaker was trying to say or accomplish and have an appreciation for that attempt. Perhaps the filmmaker failed to accomplish their vision, but to label such a film pretentious is to be dismissive of an artist trying to create something that for them holds meaning. Hey guys, thanks for watching my next video essay. I hope this appeared slicker and more informed than my last essay on Tim Curry and why he is the greatest Pennywise. So please leave me some notes in the comment section and let me know your take on The Sacred Deer. I don't know when my next essay will be up, but it should be up within the next 2 weeks. So hit that subscribe and bell button to be notified when it is up. See you all next time.